Hey, this is Prometheus giving you another ebook breakdown. This is going to be out of the Jacksonville Jaguars playbook. And this is going to be one of these playbooks where you're going to be slinging the ball all over the place. Really good if you have good wide receivers and you have a good quarterback. Also, if you have a mobile quarterback, I've got a great play for you. Now, we're going to break down basically 4 different formations in this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set this up as a playlist. So if you want to go ahead and take a look at all the different formations, you can just go ahead and follow through with this. But if you want to jump around to each formation, just skip to the next video and I'll take you to the different formations. I'm going to break down the formations by the following. First and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and run a empty set formation. I generally don't run empty sets. I like to have a threat of a run. But because I do have a mobile quarterback in my team for draft champions, I'm going to be using the QB draw in this particular set, which is going to be the bunch quads. Now, bunch quads is a great formation primarily because this formation takes 4 wide receivers and puts it to one side of the offensive line, and it's going to cause a ton of mismatches for your opponent. Now, I want to go ahead and complement this with another formation, which is going to be the gun wide trips halfback weak. Comes standard with verticals is one of his audibles, and also has a couple of great auto motion plays that you can attack your opponent to the right side of the field and also to the left, and gives you very easy reads. And I'm going to go ahead and break down the other audibles in this scheme, such as stick, and there's a play action play that we can break down for you too. Now, something a little bit different is a pistol. I don't generally break down a lot of pistols, but I'm going to go ahead and show you a pistol formation, pistol weak. This actually comes with a power option for the quarterback, so you can pick up some huge plays if you got a mobile quarterback or just a nice little change of pace. It's got a nice inside zone with the halfback, and then it's got a lot of cool other plays such as slants. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to attack your opponent with that. And then finally, I'm going to close it out with one of the favorite formations in the entire game, and you can use this pretty much in every playbook, single back ace. I'm going to go ahead and break down single back ace and how to go ahead and run this against your opponent. Got a couple key plays in here as your base plays. I've got a nice little compliment to Z Spot, one of my favorite plays in the game. And also, I'm going to break down all the audibles for you so you know how to attack your opponent. Long, deep, short, in the middle, all over the field. You're going to pepper the ball all over the place to get your field. So if you're new to my channel, I just want to let you know I run full games with the schemes that I break down. So you'll see the scheme first, and then you'll see how my opponents play with it. So if you like these breakdowns, if you want to go ahead and hit subscribe, because you're actually going to see this against a live opponent. You're going to see how opponents adjust to it. So with that said, let's go ahead and break down our first formation, which is going to be the gun bunch quads. All right, so the first formation we're going to take a look at is going to be the bunch quads out of the gun. This is going to be an empty back set. So basically, you're not going to have a running back on this. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the audibles and then the plays we would call out of this as a base play. All right, so the audibles that we have here are spacing, QB draw, drag under, and then the bunch trail. Now, QB draw is basically your running play. So if you do have a fast quarterback, this plays will be very effective for you because of the blocking you get. But if you don't have a fast quarterback, you could probably use it to pick up a few yards and just keep your opponent just a little bit off their game a little bit. Now, some of the base plays that we're going to go ahead and take a look at, the base plays I'm probably going to use is either going to be the spot route or the inside post. So those are going to be the base plays we're going to look at. And let's go ahead and start off with just the QB draw, just so you can see how that works, and then we'll go into our base plays from there. Now, in my formation, generally what I like to do is I like to flip it, primarily because most opponents don't flip their plays to begin with. It maybe happens once in a while, but most people just have a tendency to play the plays as there are. So I want to go ahead and get the advantage against my opponent by flipping him and giving him a different look. And let's just go with the QB draw. So once again, this is just a base audible, as you can see right here. This looks like it's going to be a man alignment. We've got basically 4 defenders, or basically 5 defenders off to the left, taking on those 5 wide receivers. And then with the draw play, you're just going to get a nice little inside run. Nothing spectacular. But if your opponent does go into zone, you'll be able to pick up some pretty easy yards, especially in a 3rd and 1 situation. So this is a real ideal play to run against your opponent if you've got a fast mobile quarterback, preferably someone with over 80 speed. But it's not something you want to do on a regular basis. If your opponent's using a lot of zone coverage against you, you should be able to pick up some pretty good yards. But then again, you got to worry about those QB fumbles. It happens a lot in the game, so you don't want to go to this play a lot, and especially check out of any kind of alignments that look like this, because you'll probably get yourself in trouble. All right, so either one of the two base plays we're going to run is going to be the inside post and the X, or actually spot route. Spot route is going to be a very effective, easy way to flood against your opponent. So let's go ahead and break this down real quick. Now there's a lot of different things you can do with the spot. The way the play comes stock, that red route, which is by Blackman, which is your right bumper icon, is actually kind of a delayed route, and then he gets off the ball. But I don't necessarily recommend leaving him like that, so let's go ahead and make an adjustment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hitch up Blackman, and if I get a zone or man look, I can actually go ahead and smart route that hitch and get a little bit more depth. But really my progressions are going to be off to the left hand side. If I get some kind of a man read, I know I've got this backside wide receiver doing a deep post route, and he's going to get inside position and should get some separation. My first read on this particular route is going to be Thomas, to see if I get a free release, and I'll hit him in the flat. Then I'll check up the Blackman in the hitch route, and then finally I got Lee on the corner, and then Robinson is going to be my fourth read. Hopefully I don't get to that read. So going to go ahead and take that flat right away. I'm going to force my opponent to go ahead and defend those flats, and the route combination with that fly route and that corner route, you actually get some good blocking up the middle. So once again, I've got the flat, and I'm going to go ahead and force my opponent to try to defend that flat. So now we've got basically a man look, because we've got all the guys pressed, and that hitch route should be able to get some good separation right there, and you can usually hit that against man coverage. And another thing is you got that deep corner route, which because the area is just flooded, it's going to be wide open. So this is a nice little flood that you can do against your opponent, and obviously on a man coverage press you can go ahead and beat him on the deep post. So this is a nice play to really harass your opponent with, force him to go ahead and defend those different areas of the field. He's going to have a hard time defending the flat, defending the corner route, defending all those areas. He's going to have to really make some big adjustments on his defense, opening you up for different plays. Now the next play we're going to take a look at is going to be inside zone. This is going to be our next progression or read, and what I like about this is it has nice complements to go opponent on the backside. We still have a flat concept, and really what a progression is going to be is we're going to be taking a look at this wide receiver over here. He's going to tell me whether this is zone or if this is man coverage. He's really going to give me my reads. Now if it's zone coverage, basically I'm going to be looking at Hearns first and foremost. I'll be looking at Blackman and then Thomas. If it is man coverage, then I'm going to be looking for Lee and Blackman. Those guys should be getting some separation over the middle against man coverage. So let's go ahead and take a look at Hearns as far as his progression. If he runs just straight up, it's man. If he cuts in and then goes up on that inside red route, that means it's zone coverage, and I can either go ahead and check up from there. So he actually does man coverage, and as you can see right here, this man is wide open. So let's go ahead and take a look at the instant replay. So our read is going to be this wide receiver right here, and if he runs straight up, which he was just running straight up, he got checked off the line, but he ran straight up, basically that's telling me that it is going to be man coverage. And as you can see, this defender, this tight end is going to basically beat the man coverage the entire time. So if you can get a fast tight end, he's going to basically get away from any kind of a linebacker trying to defend this route. This wide receiver should be wide open on the man coverage. As you can see, he does get the inside position, and then also this guy on an angle route gets the inside position too. So those trailing routes will be wide open on man coverage. So once again, press, we're going to watch Hearns. Hearns actually comes in, so then we're going to go ahead and check down to the flat and take those easy yards. So our read right here, and see how he comes in on an angle like this, he doesn't go straight up, then I know I've got zone coverage. So once again, I'll check down to the flat, yards. I want to force my opponent to put a defender in the flat. That's going to take him out of his cover 3 blitzes where he doesn't have any flat defenders out there. My next read too on this particular play is going to be this wide receiver right here, because he's going to get in an area that he should be wide open. As you can see right there, he definitely is going to be in a little hole right there. And I've got this crossing wide receiver probably would have got picked up in the zone. So really my progressions are going to be the flat and these wide receivers right here. So once again, I'm going to read it. This is man coverage, and I've got the crossing wide receiver right over there over the middle against man. I've got zone coverage right here, and as you can see, this angle route gets into a nice little zone that you could pick. You can take out that zone. As you can see right here is actually a zone because it is actually a cover 2 shell. So he comes down and takes care of the flat, leaving 2 wide receivers for for basically one guy. And I'm able to go ahead and hit him on that deep angle route for some pretty major yards right there. One of the base place audibles is going to be spacing, and this is going to essentially give you some reads for man coverage and zone coverage. Once again, we're always going to be constantly attacking the flat with the tight end, so we'll take those easy yards with the tight end. So once again, we're going to go ahead and see we've got the hitch route. It's going to fall in a nice little area with the zone. You can pick up some fairly easy yards with that. Alright, so my progressions are going to be Thomas in a flat, Blackman, and then Robinson for any kind of a man coverage. And as you can see right here, that man coverage gets blown away by the wide receiver if he decides to go ahead in that man coverage on the backside. So this is a nice little play that you can use to kind of harass your opponent. You've obviously got a big play where you can go and take a shot up top if you want to on that fly, but this is a nice little way to once again attack your opponent on the backhand side. So let's take a look at the next audible, which will basically be attacking our opponent on the right side of the offensive line. So the next audible is going to be bunch trail, and basically what I like to do is I don't want to leave the corner out with Lee there. I'm actually going to go ahead and take him and put him on a slant route that gives me a levels concept that I can attack my opponent at multiple different levels. My first read is going to be Lee coming over the middle. I'm going to basically, or actually Blackman coming over the middle. I'm going to go ahead and attack him. Then I'm going to go to Lee on the slant route, Thomas on the angle route, and then Hearns on the deep post. I don't necessarily concern myself too much with the deep comeback with Robinson. It's just not a read I'm really concerned about. If I wanted to, I could just completely clear him out by just going ahead and slanting him up just so he stays out of the area. So my first progression is going to be Lee coming across the middle, and I'll go ahead and take easy yards with that if he gets a good breakaway. Conversely, I've got Blackman coming across the middle, and he should be able to get a free release against this man too. So you can see right here, I've got Blackman. He falls into like a unique little route right there with this particular route combination. And then my next progression is going to be Thomas on the angle route. He's going to fall in a nice little area, and he'll actually eat up most of the zones. And then he also will eat up basically all the man routes too, because those angle routes just are so effective in the game and have been for a long time. You can see right here, man coverage just blows it away, and you can pick up some pretty easy yards with that. And finally, you've got that deep post route that you can go ahead and hit against your opponent. They'll pick up some pretty good yards if he starts cheating down to the level concepts that we have with this particular play. So it's a nice little play to go ahead and tack your opponent off to the other side of the field, because we'd be focusing on all the spots and all the different combinations on the left side. Now you're going to get them going on the other side. And what's great about this particular play is that it is something that's going to be in your base audibles. The last play we're going to take a look at is going to be drag under. Basically, it kind of works like a verticals type situation. Thomas is going to fall into where he against any kind of a zone coverage, and you've got Hearns and Lee on a levels concept going across the middle of the field. So what I like about this play is that it just really causes a lot of mismatches, and if you can read things correctly, you'll be very effective with it. Now my read is going to be Hearns. I'm going to go ahead and see if he gets followed. He generally will beat his man and get across the field, and I know that if Hearns has got coverage, I can hit Lee across the middle for big yards. If it is zone coverage, I'm going to be looking for the seams with Thomas, or back to Hearns again going over the middle. So this actually is a zone coverage, and as you can see right there, I'm able to pick up some massive yards with Thomas. So once again, I'm going to look at the progressions, and I could have went ahead and checked down or actually checked up to Thomas right there, but I went ahead and took the drag underneath. So this is just a very difficult play to actually go ahead and stop, and if you've got a speedy wide receiver doing that drag route, he's just going to essentially get some huge yards against any kind of off coverage with your defender. So this is what I really like about this play, is that you've got basically ways to go ahead and attack your opponent in different areas of the field that he's not used to defending, and he's going to be focusing on the bunch side, and then every time when you're coming back around to the other side, he's going to have a hard time stopping that. And then, you know, obviously you've got this deep play right here, route right here, but look at that play by the defender to actually come in there and smack that ball down. So let's see if we can get to that again. Right there, that's the play I was looking for. As you can see, I picked up a good 20 yards on that crossing route. So what I think one of the things I do like about this formation is that it just has it's just a matchup nightmare for anybody that wants to go ahead and run this formation. So the bunch set is just going to cause a lot of problems with your opponent if he thinks he's going to be able to go ahead and get away with some of the different routes that you're doing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next formation in this book, which is going to be the gun wide trips halfback weak.